Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It is Leah Ryan and Loft Manager Richard from the Pioneer Racing Pigeon Club of Ontario here with another episode of Pigeon Chat. We're on episode 10. Congratulations, guys.
We've done it. We've made it to episode 10. It's now the official family show. And we talk about, Leah, we always talk about family show, right?
Right?
We talked about the other day. When I was driving, we say how the audience, they kind of chime in, right?
Right?
About how we operate. Sometimes I'll be on him. Sometimes Leah will be on me. Sometimes we're going at each other.
Right?
This is a family show.
Right.
We've been flying pigeons in the same house since I was born, 38 years. He had pigeons before me. We work together. When you see us as you think you see bickering, fighting, and arguing, no, we're just work. This is how we do things sometimes. Sometimes we're going to be heated about some things, and other times it's a smooth sailing ship. Correct, Leah?
That's right. We are family. The three of us are family. Obviously, Richard is our dad. Ryan's the brother, and I'm the sister. And this is how we interact on the daily basis. We all love each other dearly. Please, guys, don't get upset if it seems like we're a little bit heated or picking on Loft Manager Richard. Honest to God, at the end of the day, we get on great, and this is just like how we normally talk, whether it would be at the kitchen table or Christmas dinner. This is just how we are. So don't get offended, and don't worry. Loft Manager Richard's got some thick skin.
Yeah, and he's not going anywhere. He's going to be on the show at episode number 100. We're going to celebrate that.
Yep. So
We are also
a bunch of people already tuned in. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We've got Robert Hamilton in the house. We have Frank Eichhorn in the house. I'm just going to put everybody's hellos up.
Hey,
Who else do we have? We have Neil is in the house. Hello, Neil. Owen is in the house, and he says, good evening. He was he was ripping his sled. Well, it's a good day for that. Ricky Cruz is in the house. He says, hello, guys and girls. I think I've got everyone. Oh, we got Shaquille. We have Ian Sibbald in the house. Robbie Taylor. Sydney's in the house. Good job. Hello.
Whoa, they're piling in, guys. Make your beverage, sit down. This is going to be a fun show. We're going to do some learning, some things.
Now, if I can ask you a question.
Go ahead. I want to announce a big thing, but go ahead.
You actually don't like any comedy, but that sound in the back, is that a recording or is that real life?
That's real life. We got the powders behind us here. We're going to talk about them into the show, but you can hear the conditioning. Boy, you got these guys really ready to go, ready to mate, which is great. Big announcement, Leah. Do I want to do it now about the band race, or do you want me to wait?
I don't know what it is, so whatever you want. Not sure.
Big news, hey. We've just sold over 700 bands now. We're going to put that list up. Right now, we have beaten last year in Ontario open races. Right now, this race has already beaten last year's all the open races.
All
of them.
Wow.
Hey, 700 rings.
We now have 700 participants.
700 bands are out. 700 birds will be competing. The question is, can we get to 2,200? That's yet to be seen. But you know what? Inch by inch, brick by brick, mile by mile. And remember, those inches and those bricks and those miles, they're not going to be done by me, guys. They're going to be done by you, banding those youngsters for a great 4-race open race series, which we're not going to get into now. I just want to give a big shout out to everyone that has purchased rings. We got the list that we're going to put up. Let's keep going.
Can I ask you a question on that?
Yes, you can.
We'll talk about that after.
We're going to talk after? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So on today's show, we are talking a little bit about vaccinating youngsters, why we do it, when to do it, how to do it. And we're also going to talk about, what else are we talking about, Ryan?
Well, it's funny how things come up, but we can get even just to start here. We got this powder hen.
Sure.
We got one of these birds. The nails grow like weeds.
I would like to ask. I'll ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you have these two powders in here? What's going on here?
Well, you're switching the pairing. So you want this hen, the white hen, to go to curly,
to a different cock.
To a different cock. So you separated them out.
So yeah.
Now you got them side by side here in this show cage, which works great. So that the pair get familiar, as we've talked about.
So I'm going to ask you the question: why would you have them side by side in a show cage and not just put them in the same?
Well, because
cage?
he's a real dominant pigeon.
Right.
Any cockbird can be, especially when he's in the zone. We don't want him scalping her or causing
Right.
problems. We want them to get acquainted, like, hey, how's it going, right? Look, I can't hit you from
Through
here.
the cage.
That's
Yeah.
right, and that it's a great way to pair them up so they don't dominate each other.
And he doesn't what we call scalp the hen.
Scalp the hen, turn the hen off, beat the hen, abuse the hen, and what we mean by scalp is take the feathers off the head.
Take a look at my head here.
You look
And
like
it's
you've been scalped.
It's like
Kind
it's
of look like lost managed
but
Richard.
a little more bloody. You know what I mean?
Okay, so what we're talking about, or what you're telling people, is you're introducing a new cock to that hen, correct?
That's right.
Okay.
Well, I
and,
split the pair from last year.
Okay, and so the brief introduction, or the first step in introducing them is to put them in the show cages side by side so they can see each other, talk to each other, but he can't
That's right.
attack her or be dominant
100%.
over her. Now,
Yeah. Now, so some people say, and I don't want to take the show over, that if you put them in a basket or in a nest box on the evening before, when it's dark, put them in, and in the morning they'll be mated. I've actually never tried that. I don't want to risk that. So when I walk out in the morning and I find that this just didn't work, and the cock scalped the hen, and the other things, some of these cockbirds, if they're really in the mood to mate and they're healthy, you can hear him in the back. He's ready to show his stuff, and sometimes they just they abuse the hen, and they actually turn that hen right off.
I've seen it happen many times.
Yeah.
So
Henry has a question about this. Henry, welcome, by the way. He asks, how long do you have them separated until you will put them together?
I will separate them now for about 2 days.
Now,
and then I'll put them together.
Now you hear in the background, you hear him, he's already calling her. He's saying, hey, where are you? Where are you? That's his call. He's calling for. When we put her back in beside him, he'll turn on like a car. And the first thing is when you hear him, and you introduce the hen into the cage beside him, the first thing you're looking at is what's her first facial expression? How does she turn?
Or move.
Does she look like she's that woman at the bar, you know, that you see across, and she turns and she moves her hair?
Yeah, she struts.
She struts. There you go.
But so this is what we do. Now, if you don't have a show cage, you could use two rabbit cages side by side so they could see each other. Or, I mean, if you want to really get down into the gritty, 2 canary cages. I mean, that's really getting tight. But
and then how long is this process?
I will say I would like to guarantee 2 days. I could probably try it tomorrow, as early as tomorrow. I just put them in this afternoon.
Right.
But I would say 2 days, probably guaranteed 3 days.
Now,
and if you're putting them into a section where they're going to be with other birds, you want to make sure they totally know each other and love each other. Yeah. Because sometimes if you do it in one day, and they're just, the pair of them are both hot like bullets, and then you take them and say, oh, they're mated, put them in a section where there's other birds, the next nice looking guy might take her away.
Between 2 to 3 days and you're good. Again, you're always looking at the reaction, and it's okay for half a day to separate them and then put them back together, separate them. It brings the bond. But the one thing we did want to talk about was this hen here. This is an interesting thing. Now, for veteran pigeon flyers, this is probably not a big deal, but for new flyers, and I want to show these toenails.
I'm gonna put this camera. There we go.
Okay.
Okay, look at these toenails. Okay, look at the side one here. Boy, I just want to cut my fingernails when I see this.
Yeah.
They're too big. The hen does not look comfortable. You see how, look at that toenail, how it's growing. Look at it. It's like a corkscrew.
Now, let me just go back here for 1 minute, right?
Oh boy.
So what do we do in this situation?
Now, first of all, we should tell these people what these are.
These are Spanish powders.
Spanish powders, right? We use them for droppers. Now, if Ryan, I could say something. This cock has never ever had his toenails clipped.
Sure. And I'll show these nails.
Some of them, pigeons, some birds, they never have to worry about that because for some reason, the way they move on the floor or whatever, They're never grow any longer than that, right? But you get the odd one, which this hen, we're going to have to trim it. There he is. What's his name?
That's Curly, Ricky.
Curly.
All right, now
he's quite the character. Look at him.
I'm going to bring this camera up.
So we're going to show you guys how to cut a pigeon's toenails today.
Well, I would have to say trim them.
Trim them. I'm
cutting,
sorry.
Leah, when I did your dog, I cut it, and that means the thing was bleeding.
Show the trimmer, Ricky, that you're using. Let's get
so you have
there.
to hold it up.
Okay, so you actually on this bird, you can see the amber nail, and I don't know if you can see it, but you can see the quick. See it right here? A little bit of blood.
The pink.
The pink. That's where the blood is.
You don't cut that.
Right. That's like chewing your nails right back. So I'll take what I have is just a pair of dog clippers. I got them at, could I say Walmart? Walmart. They're cheap.
Plug for Walmart.
Right.
Give them a cut.
And I go back here and I just, look at that. See that? So now I'll take the next one. And I'll look at the quick. Now you can see this bird here has an amber nail. He has a black nail. So if they're black, you can't see the quick.
Ryan,
so,
move the bird. Yeah, right there is good. Yeah,
right.
We're a little too far in the corner.
If they're black, you can't see that quick. So I would go right to about where the curve is here on the nail, and bang, right off.
There you go.
And this one, right off, right? That one,
you did.
I might go a little more on that one, but this one, that one's pretty good. So this one, like, holy Moses, take a look at that, folks. Now,
do you guys cut your pigeon's nails, or have you ever? Put in the comments below. While we're
there you go. Take a look at that one, folks.
Oh boy,
look at that.
Yikes. That is Rusty.
No.
Isn't that Rusty, Ryan?
No, this is
Rusty's mother.
Yeah,
Rusty's
mother. Now there.
Ricky Cruz was asking, "Where's Rusty?" That's Rusty's mother, Ricky Cruz.
Yeah, I can get Rusty out.
Now here we go. We're gonna put her back in, right? You see there. Now let's watch her expression. Let's see how she's feeling.
We got enough light.
We got enough light there.
Okay.
Before we move on to the show.
Now let's see how he acts. Oh boy! Oh, she's looking. Oh,
see, she starts to move her head, bow her head.
See her bowing her head? Yeah.
She's getting there.
And
she's getting there.
He is one strong fella, that guy.
Okay, so Henry says that he's never had to cut their nails, and Owen is asking, why are we cutting their nails? Well, we're cutting the nails because, Owen, if you saw the nails on that the white powder there,
yeah,
I don't think I'd want to walk if my nails.
They can't walk right.
Right. So.
And you see that the pigeon's walking with uncomfortable. You see they're uncomfortable. You see they're growing over. The pigeon shouldn't have nails growing over and twisting and turning. So cut them. If you see it, just cut them and be sensible when you're cutting them. Remember, don't cut them right back to the feet,
quick.
to the toes,
to the what do you call it? The quick there, where they're going to start to bleed. You could use dog clippers, or you can use a pair of side cutters. Okay, or maybe Henkel scissors.
Will
work.
We got that with the scissors. We don't have to get into every pair.
I'm not going to get into that.
Okay. Crayola scissors work too.
Okay, so that is nail cutting 101. If anybody was interested or ever has to cut pigeon's nails, it's not the end of the world. You can do it quite easily. Phil says that he uses widowhood nest, he says use widowhood nest fronts. So why don't we explain what is a widowhood nest front and what is its purpose, or how does it work?
Well, we don't have a widowhood nest box for the show here today to show, which we have to get maybe a little video of. But a widowhood nest box is a box that collapses in. So the hen or the cock can have one compartment, and the cock can come in freely, come to his box, the box that he owns, and they pair up just like this. This is the exact same as a widowhood nest box. This just has a front on both ends.
100%. And if you've seen in our video, we had a few weeks ago about pairing up we were pairing up our stock birds, and we know we have all the boxes closed off, but we have a ledge in front of each box. So we watch, and in that one section,
We know where the cocks
I
roost.
have
We know where the
I
cocks
have
roost.
40 boxes, and I have in there what was it? 18
Right.
pair,
Right.
18 pair,
Right.
40 boxes.
Mhm.
So I know where each cock sits in front of his box. That's all he can do is sit in front of that box. So I know that. So our boxes are set up that we drop back the panels.
They're a widowhood box in
Right.
reverse. They
Right.
don't open
Right.
left to right.
So
they go back to front.
So what happens is,
Big in the
if you
UK.
folks watched it, exactly what this fellow's saying is the same, is that we'll put the hen that we want the hen to go to that cock, we'll put her in the box in the back, and we close it down in the front with the doweling, and he goes and stands in front of his box where he normally sits, and he sees his hen. She's ready to go. Within 2 days usually, they're mated up.
Hey,
So
you know
exactly
what?
what this fellow says. Just a different system.
Just a different system to pair them up so you don't get scalping, you don't get overly aggressive.
Yeah.
Again, baking chocolate cakes, there's 1,000,001 recipes to do it. This is another way to do it. It works great. You know what? I like to give options, eh? On the next show, I'm going to give you a real good option to pair up pigeons, a real good one on the next show.
Okay, so I'm just going to get to the comments and
Not today.
questions.
Go ahead.
Ann Barloff says, if the pigeons are on granules and don't have access to the aviary, the nails might tend to get long. Possibly, but you also see some grow them longer than others. You see that the dark powder there, his nails are completely fine, but the white one, they just grew really long. So
Yeah, 100%. They're both on the same floor, on the same situation, but she grows longer nails. So, anyways, when I see that, I cut them.
Jagdeep Singh Gill, I hope I said that right, is asking, do we need heaters in the Canadian cold? No, we don't. But go ahead, Brian.
No.
No, we don't use the heaters. The birds climatize as the seasons go through.
I don't like that.
Maybe heaters are good in the race season. I think is good. Bring the heat up in the loft. Keep the loft warm for racing. But just keeping any old pigeons, I think.
So when
no drafts.
You don't mind me asking.
Mm-hmm.
So when would you put the heater on when you're racing? And I know when, but I'm just going to ask you that question just to see if
when you're building up for the race season, when you're into the race season.
So when would you put them on?
Well, if I'm racing in September, I want the heat on, and I want the heat on in the evenings.
In the evening, that's right.
You want the heat. We
keep the temperature the same, as close to the daytime in the evening.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And you want that heat on. Again, I'll say it. I've been to Florida where it was 90 degrees. It was humid. Guy had the heater on in his loft.
Was it a heater or was it
he had a cow's heat mat,
a pad.
You could go on it with bare feet. Your feet were cooking. The birds were sitting on the mats,
and it was 90 degrees.
There was no humidity in the loft.
It just took the
humidity right out of the loft.
So that's a heat pad.
Heat pad. I mean, a heat pad, a heater, it's going to do the same thing. But the pigeons really love the heat mats. They do.
But
we'll have to show one on our next show.
But that's just gearing them up for racing, or if they are racing. Right now in the wintertime, there's no heat in the loft. You don't have heat in your loft. I mean, do you know anybody who has heat in their loft around here? I don't know anybody. Okay.
I'd have to,
Okay. Angel wants to know, could long nails affect your performance during a race? Well,
I mean, not too many birds grow nails like that. Yeah. Not too many do. So I'm saying you don't see this bird. This bird here is in a stock section. When you're racing, normally, I mean, if you got a bird lands on the roof of the loft, he's going to file those nails off a little bit. If they're not, normally you don't get this.
But again, if we had a race bird that we've seen grow long nails,
I'll trim them.
Hey, and another thing, we've done it too. You see the odd bird sometimes grow a bit of a hook beak, a longer beak. you've trimmed beaks as well.
Yeah, that's right. They're very, very, got to watch what you do.
Right.
But you'll see that, yeah.
You just trim it off.
I've had birds where the beaks grow
Over.
but they end up going a little bit sideways. And it's like, you know, I mean, when you get one of these, one out of every 500 or 1,000 birds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You just trim it up.
happens. So I just trim it back just a bit.
Always remember, whatever you're cutting, cut slowly. You can always cut more off. Don't go crazy and go, oh, I'm going to cut the whole, and then next thing you got blood everywhere. Take your time, inch by inch, or little millimeter by millimeter.
So
Jagdeep has another question. I think Jagdeep is new in the pigeon keeping here in Ontario. So he asks, do you change the water every day or keep a heated pot?
Fresh water.
Yeah,
Hey, you got to ask yourself the question. Remember, with pigeons, it's real common sense. Do you like fresh water, stale water, old water? No, we all like fresh water. Pigeons are no different. You want healthy pigeons? Keep the water fresh and clean.
So in the wintertime, right now, you guys are changing the water. You said twice. You're doing it twice a day?
Well,
3
right
times?
now,
Twice?
believe it or not, we're going to celebrate. I was going to hand out some, oh, you don't want any comedy here. Hand out some cigars because today my birds are hatching quite a few
Babies.
young
Youngsters are hatching, so we're now going to be
So-
into the twice a day water.
Okay, so no, this morning I went out and I gave them, it was about 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
I gave them all their feed and I gave them some nice lukewarm water.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went out this afternoon because we got a little bit cold here and made sure that the water wasn't freezing. And I gave them more nice water. And then this evening, about half an hour ago, I made sure that the water again, I gave them fresh, nice water again.
Keep the water
I kept
fresh.
nice and warm.
So that's 3 times today
lukewarm.
you change the water.
Yeah, and I gave them, because I don't hopper feed, I gave them feed 3 times today. I mean, a lot of people can't do that. But this is what, and that's very important.
And if you can't do it and you're going to be breeding in the winter, what are you going to do if it's freezing cold? You're either going to put a heater out for your drinker. Okay, so your drinker doesn't freeze. You're going to make sure the birds have enough feed for that day. Make sure they're having enough of it.
Yeah.
Make sure they're water. And just because you fill up a torpedo drinker, one of those drinkers,
At 7 o'clock in the morning.
right, at 8 o'clock at night, if it's half full, right, the next morning when you go in, dump that water out, fresh water again.
But I was going to say, if some fellas can't do that and they put water out there at 7 o'clock in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
when we got cold like this, by 10 o'clock, 100%, it's got to be lukewarm or warm. Otherwise, by 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock, it's going to be froze solid. So, what were we saying? Now, we've got to look at barn plugs, wild pigeons. And a lot of them have young ones. They start their young ones now. They're somewhere underneath a little ledge, and they got a young one, and they got this. And they know where they can get their feed. You know, some people have feeders out. They go to the park. Some people throw in bread. And they know where they get the feed. And where do they get the water? Well, now we got some sun. The roofs are starting to leak off. They're smart. They see drip, drip,
Right.
drip, drip,
Okay.
drip. They get a drink of
So-
water.
So what,
or they find a
what we're
stream.
saying is, let's just cut the story down on this one. I'm going to
Okay.
chop it for you.
Oh, yeah, stories are long.
If you're going to breed them in the winter, make sure you got water for them. That's the bottom line. I don't care how you get it to them. Give it to them 2 times a day, 3 times a day. If you don't want to put a heater out there to keep the water going, keep it from freezing, that's what you have to figure out.
Okay, so there's another way of doing this,
Mhm.
and some people may say, "Oh no, I got to go now and get a heater to keep this water warm."
Mhm.
I mean, what am I going to do? And keep the story short. Get a piece of maybe 5/8 plywood, a nice plywood. Make a box. Get a 60-watt light bulb. Put it in the box. Cut a hole in the box about that round, the size of the bottom of a Pepsi can.
Mm-hmm.
Put the light bulb in.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You got the hole. You can even make a little cover on the top so you can put your 1 liter drinker in.
Mm-hmm.
over that hole. Have the light bulb down about 2.5, 3 inches, so you're not going to melt the bottom of the container. And put your 60-watt bulb on.
Let her go.
And you got.
Well, that's what we call keeping the water thawed. Figuring out a way. If you're not handy and you can't do that, you're gonna have to figure out a way to keep the water thawed. That's it.
Or change it 3 times a day when you get to these kind of extreme -20, -30.
You know, here's the thing. If you're going to work, listen. If you're going to work at 5 o'clock in the morning, it's dark here. When you put the water out, put it scalding hot. Why? Because when the light comes on in the morning, the water will be down to nice temperatures. The birds are able to get a drink. If you put the water in at room temperature at 5 o'clock in the morning here, by 7 o'clock, they can't get into the water. So you got to kind of use your common sense, your judgment. And if you have aviaries, which is good, always nice dish of snow out there is always good as well.
Oh yeah, they'll eat snow. Yeah,
snow is good. It's not against it. It's a good.
Or if you have an aviary where your aviary doesn't go to the ground, right? Go and get a bowl, a dish, and put some snow in the corner of your aviary. They'll go in there and pick.
Even
but is the snow good? Is the snow good for them? Because doesn't.
Oh yeah, the snow will be. It will work. I mean, I was talking to a fellow the other day.
Another thing too. Another thing you can do. Another real good tip. Freeze a block of ice. Nice little block. Put a block of ice out in the aviary. They'll go. They'll lick it. It's another opportunity to get water. Again, I know shipping birds out. We ship birds to wherever they go, young birds. We go to the one-lot races or Africa. We'll put blocks of frozen feed in ice trays there. Everything's frozen. As it melts, the birds lick it. They eat it. That works. Wow. Moving on,
Glenn says, ever notice that the birds would rather have compacted snow that falls off the bottom of your boots than have a fresh drink of water? You can compact a snowball for them, but that's no good. See, he said the snowball's no good because I thought you're not supposed to eat, like snow is not, I don't know. Don't they say if you're like lost in the mountain somewhere,
you're supposed
to because it will dehydrate you or something, or is that
I was talking to a fellow the other day. He said he keeps some horses for fun. And he always thought he had to take a pail of water out for the horses every morning in the winter when it was -25.
Right.
And he said the horses wouldn't go to the water, but he said he seen they were eating snow. They were licking snow. Like deer, they do the same thing probably. I mean, they say humans shouldn't do it because it's not good for you. But I think a bird like a pigeon or a coyote or a horse or a deer, the wild horses, right? They learn to eat and go on snow. But ideally, for birds that you got young ones coming on now, I like to have that water for them in the morning. I like to make it as convenient for the birds to do what they have to do. And I'm saying you said scalding hot water, but I mean some birds go down for a drink of water and in the dark time. They know their environment, and I don't like that idea.
You don't like it. It's like tea in humans, the bath with the birds, it's the same thing. You don't like my water techniques with the hot water. We see things 2 different ways. I know one thing. Okay, pigeons are pretty damn smart. Pigeons are actually smarter than most of the pigeon or the people that I know. Because you wonder why?
If I can say
you get a lot of common sense.
If I can say another thing.
You can, and I'm sure you will.
You got that vaccine
Hold on.
there.
You know what? Let's just talk about the question.
I'm talking about the water right now. A pigeon's body temperature is 107 degrees.
Okay.
Our body temperature is what? 98.6 or 96.8, whatever that song was.
Okay.
And when I get up in the morning, my body temperature is 98.6, let's say. Okay. And I make a hot cup of coffee and I drink it black. I don't put cream milk in it. I like it black. And believe it or not, I sip it. And that water's like hot, man. That's boiling. That coffee's hot, like boiling water. So you got probably a good point there.
Thank you.
If you put it out there
Like-
from tap hot water,
Point for the good guys. Point
those
for the good
pigeons'
guys.
body temperature is 107.
They feel
That
different
means
temperature.
that hot water. My coffee's
But,
made
hey,
not from the
did
tap.
did I tell you? My father's Richard Zonigan. He had pigeons ever since he was knee high to a grasshopper. Hey, I got 38 years in this sport. Go ahead,
Okay.
Leah. Moving
Moving
on.
on.
Okay, here we
Moving
go.
on.
So you're
Dave
gonna cut
Ottaway-
me off
Dave-
now.
Dave Ottaway says he uses a tomato can size hole for the drinker heat. And Robbie Taylor has a good idea. He uses candle warmers, which that is a good idea. You know those, it's like a little hot plate, but you just use it to, right? Like it doesn't get extremely
So
hot.
I'd have to say with Dave Ottaway's idea, it's inexpensive, and I think it's a great way.
And here's another thing. If there's a little bit of light that comes out of the box, maybe the odd crack in the box, what is kind of nice about it,
They can see the box.
they see the box, but it kind of gives them almost a bathroom little light on for them in the section. If a bird comes off the nest for a drink, it just takes the darkness out of the room. The room's still dark at night, but hey, if they come down for a drink at 2 o'clock in the morning, they can find their way back. Both ways are good. Keep going, Leah.
Frank Eichhorn says, don't eat the yellow snow, Leah. I'll try not to. I don't eat snow in general, but I'm definitely not going to eat it if it's yellow. Just going to put that out there. Okay.
That's right.
What
Good point.
do we want to talk about next? We want to talk about vaccinating?
Well, yeah, I know. We can talk vaccinating. If you want, grab the youngest one first.
Now, I
Ricky.
see the little hen here.
Mhm.
I weaned her roughly 2 days ago,
Mhm.
and she's so intelligent because she's been in this crate without a container of water, and I see the way she's looking at me.
Mhm.
She wants a drink of water.
So first,
So could we just try something for
could
fun?
you just?
I'm going to
I
take
know.
her out of
I
her
just
environment.
want you to just do one thing for me first. Okay, because remember, you're our guest here on the show. Where we lead, you can follow along.
Let's do something because that camera
Could you-
angle.
Okay,
is not
okay, here we go.
Could you, yeah. Well,
So
now I
you
got
want a vaccinator?
Shiva calling me.
Oh, she's trying to.
Well, there we go. Is the camera still working, Leah?
So I just weaned her 2 days ago. I'm going to get off here.
Okay.
Show how she is.
Let's first talk about, before we get into the vaccinating, why are we vaccinating? What are we vaccinating for or with? And
We like
how old, how many times? Let's talk about that first.
well, we like to vaccinate with the PNV, for the paramyxovirus. We like to vaccinate with the salmonella vaccine for salmonella. We like to vaccinate with the adeno vaccine. And the nice thing is, I don't believe you can really over-vaccinate them. With each vaccination, you're building up, what is that?
Booster. It's like
A booster, right? So this is a good age here. What is this bird here? You'd say that about 20 days old? 20.
No, she's about, she's about 16 days old.
Well, between 16 and 18 days. Okay. We're just going to hold on before we water her.
I know what she wants.
She wants a drink of water. And this is a great age to vaccinate them. Again, even already getting still a little bit older. But we like to vaccinate behind the hen. What's good about at this age when you're vaccinating, basically you can have the control of the baby very easily. You go always into the back of the neck. And what's good is the feathers aren't all the way in. So you can really see the skin. And you see, you just hold her. She basically holds herself still. A baby like this to put in between your legs. There's not a lot of pigeon here. So very, very easy. I like to pull up the skin on her. And I'll use our needle, our syringe. And she's moving around a little bit here. To go in just like that. There you go. Yeah. Perfect. She gets it done. Pull it out. You feel. Make sure I got it in. Make sure I didn't hit a quill, and it all comes out. There you go. You see, no blood, no nothing. Real simple.
So how wet is she under the wings, this little girl?
See, real young. No problems with her. She did good. We're gonna give her a little treat.
Let's just see if Ricky knows what she wants.
Let's see.
Turn her around.
Let's get her over here.
Never been.
She's gonna have her drink now.
I thought she wanted to.
We thought she did.
She doesn't know what she wants.
No, she's making a
Well,
line.
you know how you feel when you've been vaccinated. I'm lined up for the COVID vaccine, but that there, easy way, young, still, even already, I'll vaccinate them a little younger, but just under this, lift the skin up. You got control of the baby. Look, I'm pulling it forward.
Yeah.
It's pulling itself back. Control. Put the needle in.
on a surface where she can
feel good with her feet. And if you do it in the nest bowl, they feel comfortable in the nest bowl. There's no problem here, Dad. Take her back.
People want to see the other two little gaffers there that...
Yeah, grab the other one. Come on. Hi, guys.
So you vaccinated that little one. Now, are you going to give it a booster down the line, or?
In about 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, we'll hit it with maybe a PNV salmonella or a PNV adeno vaccine. Now, let's look at this guy. We're going to change it.
No, that's the youngster.
This is a little bit bigger pit, little bit baby.
The youngster that we weaned 2 weeks ago.
No, bigger.
Remember when everyone said, "Ooh"?
Ryan, can you move it closer towards Dad, please? Move the board. There we go.
So this is a much bigger baby. Let's see how this one's going to do. This is going to be a lot harder. If you're trying to go this way now, you got no control. You see how he's moving around too much? You see this? You don't do that like this with him. He's got to go in between your legs, and much simpler to do. When they're this age, you can do it the way I showed. It works great. When they get to be this size, double, you just do it between your legs.
But I'd already have them done before that. But
well, this one has been done. We just didn't have the show for it when we did that. So here, put those back in here.
Maybe in another show down the road, Ryan, you can show between the legs for a bigger one. I know we always show when we take the one lump birds in, we show them being vaccinated. So you guys will see how they do a bigger bird in between the legs.
Yep. And just move on. It's not hard. Again, have control. You can do it by yourself. It's not difficult. I hate people saying, well, they don't know how to do it. All you gotta do is just practice a little bit. It's not hard. Oops, there we go.
And in the long run, it's really going to be beneficial for not only the pigeons, but for your loft, the health of the loft. It's a must, right? It's a must to vaccinate.
I think it's a must. I don't think you can go without it. And those who say they do, it's just a matter of time before they get into it. The luck runs out. Yeah, and again, straight PNV adeno, PNV salmonella. I've seen people do the herpes vaccine. Really, you can go crazy, but it's literally the way I look at it is about $1.25 a bird, and you're laughing. You do about 100 birds. Works.
Well, think about it. You put in all your time.
Mm-hmm.
You take care of your old birds. You do things properly. You raise the young ones up, and you feed good feed, grit, whatever you did. Keep the water warm. Do all this stuff. And then you didn't vaccinate.
Yeah, that's right.
You're playing with a
loaded gun.
A loaded gun. Right.
So Neil is asking, what about the cost? PMV pigeon specific vaccine. I was fleeced by the vet who charged me $490 for the office exam and a 100 dose bottle. Well, the rules in Canada, the government says if you want to acquire vaccine, that you must go and see a vet. And we're certainly not here to dispute that. So
yeah,
I think that's all. That's all we're going to say about that.
You guys can go to your vets and get whatever you need. We like what we use, and that's that. I'm again, as we say here in Canada, there's no such thing as pigeon vets. There's no such thing. I don't believe in even proper pigeon vaccine here in Canada, and that's that. We don't. Yep. I'm not going down that road. But good luck, Neil, and let me know.
Yeah. Okay. What else did we want to talk about today?
Wow, the show's moving along. If Frank was still watching, he he had mentioned the other day when I was speaking to him that Ricky, you have a good scenario for this. He has cockbirds, 2 cocks that are owning 2 boxes each. So they're kind of bullying a cock out of a box. How you fix it? How would you fix it?
So in other words, he's got boxes open.
He may have 8 boxes. He has 8 cocks, and 2 cocks are saying, "Hell, I want to own 2 of those."
Throw the other guy out.
Yeah. What would you do?
Okay, so first of all, I would, if you got 8 boxes, I might paint the one back wall on one box yellow, and the other one I might paint it white. Okay, I might put a mirror in one box, or a picture of something, right?
So the cocks can distinguish.
Yeah,
but
because that one cock beside, he may think that all boxes to him look the same. Okay. The other thing when I do is I don't put my nest bowls in all the same corners of all the boxes. So in this top box, I put a nest bowl or whatever. And I mean,
on the right side of the
I
box.
put it on the right side. The bottom box, I put it down below.
On the left side.
Yeah, right.
The
top box, where side by side, I'll put that nest bowl in that corner, and then this end one, I'll shove it back in that corner. So when they come in,
it's different.
Now,
right? Still low.
I might put in one box, I may put the nest bowl elevated, and in the other box, it won't be elevated. So when they come in, right, they can see a difference in the boxes.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think I'd probably take the dominating cock and I'd maybe leave him in his box. I'd do that. Let the other cock get a little dominance. Again, another idea from McAloney was put a nice throne, a nice block of wood in the cock that's a little bit weaker's box so he can get up on the throne. Remember, it's a lot harder to throw a guy off when he's above you than, that may work. But I would probably keep that cock, the aggressor, in his box for a while and let the other guy.
They'll normally, when they own their box, they own it. But if they get confused.
Yeah, confusion can be bad.
Right. And sometimes entries. If the bird has to enter through if you have a dowel front where he's got to enter through, if you have that entry a little different on the next box.
Frank says that he has playing cards in the back of the box, and Dave Ottaway says to cut their tail very short so they lose the anchor. When the other cock now pushes him out, he slides out of the box because his tail is gone, no anchor to lean on and push back.
Good point. And
see, wait a minute now. I'm learning.
Right, that's a good learning.
I think it's a real good idea.
And when I was speaking with Frank, he had heard. This was another interesting one. Don't think it's silly. This was amazing. He said you put another marker band on the bird's opposite leg, and you tie a string to the bird's both bands. And like I think sort of what Dave was saying, the bird loses to put his feet back to fight. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, like balance.
The cock loses his balance. So he said tying both legs together. I never heard of that. But when you sort of think about it, it's not a bad idea.
I think the tail would be easier than tying feet together. I don't know about tying feet together, but that's just me. Okay, Phil says,
I like to see cocks when they are aggressive. That shows a good sign. And sometimes, I hate to say it, but a cock that doesn't stand up to fight in his box, for his box, is sometimes something that I'll recognize as being a little bit of a downfall.
Go ahead, Leah.
Phil says, don't leave extra boxes open, one to a cock until you move an extra cock into the room. I made the mistake, and the new guy had to fight off the guy who thought he owned 2. Luckily, it was settled before eggs in the nest.
Yeah, that's right. Make sure you have enough boxes for the cocks and no extra. Prime example, these powders you see behind us. Curly's got his own box. He's got his own box. Now he may be in here for 2 days pairing up here, right? I know. What did Richard do? He closed Curly's box off.
That's
so
right.
no other cockbird can go in and go, oh, Curly's gone?
So, yeah.
I just expand my what? Real estate.
Yeah, 100%. Pigeons are like people.
Mm-hmm.
They like to own real estate.
Mhm.
Did you
They're
know I just bought
territorial.
a farm? I bought a farm here. I bought 2 houses over there.
Yeah.
I got this and that. They like to own real estate.
Mhm.
Oh, there's another box open. I'm going to take care of that. I'm going to own that one.
Yeah, and that's why I found even with some people ain't gonna like what I'm gonna say here. Some cockbirds that own, they make a nest on the floor. We've had a few of them. They're phenomenal. They're great racers, and they almost take the floor as their whole box. So they get when you go and feeding, they become very aggressive on the floor to the other ones.
Dominant.
Dominant. Oh,
But then also we look at some great cocks. They nest on the floor.
Yeah.
Some of the best cocks will nest on the floor.
they want the whole. They want the whole apartment.
Yeah, I know an old
So
pigeon
Frank
flyer
says,
had.
Frank says I locked them up in their box. They belong in, like Ryan said. So, just
You know what,
comment.
Frank, just rotate them every other day, whatever. So the one cock can come out. The only box he can go in is to his. The next day, the other guy can go into his. They'll straighten up.
Sorry. Okay. Switching gears, we have a question from Ian. Ian is asking, what's the symptoms and what is the reaction on the pigeons with the pigeon herpes? Can you adjust your camera, Ryan? Because you're like half in the camera and half out. And
Oh, I thought we were using the
my
big one, Leo.
OCD crazy. No, there we go. Thank you.
As now, Ricky, you're not in. Smile.
Yeah,
Good.
I'm in.
You look good. Wave.
Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Go.
What are the symptoms?
Yeah, what's the symptoms and what is the reaction on the pigeons with the pigeon herpes?
Oh. On the herpes.
Some of them come down with when they're through it. They come down with that a little pimple on the eyelid.
No, that's pox. That's the pox.
Oh, pox. That's right.
That's the pox.
Sorry.
The herpes. The herpes. I can't say what the.
Well, maybe somebody else can put it in the comments,
Yeah.
and then I will share. Or tonight after the show, look at that book there. That.
Yeah. I think I've had a brain fart on it.
Okay. Well, maybe it'll come.
Ian, give me your analogy on it. I know I think we talked about it before when I was at your place. So thanks, Ricky.
Okay. Do you guys have bad egg that you want to show? Did you bring that?
Did you bring the bad egg, Ricky?
Didn't get the bad egg.
You didn't bring the bad egg. Well, you know what's the good thing is the bad egg will still be bad on the next show. Or did you throw the egg
I got
away?
in the nest. I got one egg chipping.
And a bad egg.
And the other egg's bad.
Mm-hmm.
The other egg didn't get fertilized, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's clear. What you say clear, you can see one's dark.
Right.
One egg's chipping today. The other egg is clear. Now,
There's no baby in the egg.
There's no young one in the egg. Now, you get some eggs where one egg could be dark, but the young one died in the egg because of salmonella or whatever. It died.
Right.
One egg is good, one egg died. The egg will turn like black.
Right.
Dark, it'll be black.
And this one's not like that.
No, this one here is clear. That means fertilization,
right?
It didn't work.
Well, maybe tomorrow we'll go out there with that baby that's hatched and we'll just do a little video for our next show to show them.
I mean, I can go out there and.
No, you can stay here. You're doing good tonight. You're on fire.
I'd like to. I mean, if you see the egg that was clear,
mm-hmm.
and we don't have a solid egg beside it, you can't really compare. You understand what I'm saying?
All
okay,
right.
well, we'll figure it out for the next episode. Moving on, I know on the last episode, Richard, you had talked about when you're giving the, you like to handle the youngsters and you like to check them over, and you had mentioned that you check the navel. Why don't you talk about that and why you do that, how often you do that, and what you're looking for?
Well, when I go in the loft and I look at my young one, I look at the nests, and the youngsters are maybe 8-10 days old. I like to pick them up. I like to feel a nice, solid body. I'm going to exaggerate. They got to feel like you almost could drop them on the floor and they'll bounce right back up in your hand. They got that solid feeling. Then I go and I when I feel that, okay, great. I'll check the navel at the back and make sure everything's nice. There's no lumps. Like we can get canker in the navel.
Mm-hmm.
I check the back end where we say the guts are at that point, intestines. I check that to make sure everything's nice and solid and not mushy feeling. I check. I'll look at their face and I'll check in their throat. I'll feel. I just give them that little checkup to say, "You're all right. You're all right. Everything's going good."
And you normally do that once or twice in that time before weaning. You don't go through them every single day.
I'll just go and I check this one. I check them. I just
So
check.
once we start to get the youngsters in the nest, we'll do a quick Dr.
Run
checkup video, and you can show exactly what it is that you're
I like
for.
to see. I like to see when the youngsters are usually these checkups. I don't do it when they're just hatched. I look. Oh, they're hatched. Everything's nice. They look like little. I don't know. They got that look, that nice strong look. Again, I say one egg hatches. I see it starting to chip, and the other egg hasn't chipped. I go back out next morning, bang, both young ones are out. They just come, boom, right out, and they see them in the nest.
That's what you're looking for.
Yeah, I don't handle them at that point.
No.
Next time I handle them when I see they're hatched. The next time is when I band them, about 7 days old.
And then you go through them a couple more times. Every other day, you'll go and you'll take a look.
I'll pick them up and I'll look at them, and I like to see before their tails. When I wean them, their tails are about an inch long. But before that, I'd like to see them in the nest where they stand up and they snap at me. They snap at me. And they'll hold their wings up and they'll snap at me. That is telling me
they're alert.
Yeah,
they're feeling good.
We're strong. We're healthy. We're here to live.
That's right.
Right? Mm-hmm. So those are just little observations that I do. When I look in the nest and I see two young ones, they're 10, 12 days old, and I see one sitting in there with his eyes closed and he's squinting and the other one's standing up. Well, there's something wrong with that one.
And then you go from there. We take a look and see, and
there you go. Alrighty. Anything else, Ryan?
No, I think that went well.
Okay.
I think we covered a lot of tractor today.
A little bit here.
Yes, we did.
Remember,
keep the grit to them. Nice grit when you're keep it with them. Keep the salts with them. I do apple cider vinegar and water every day.
When your babies are starting to hatch, that's when you want to make sure you're not messing around with the feed. Give the higher protein feed. Give them the protein. Give them the egg food from Versalaga. It's great. You want to keep everything for those birds fresh. Less is more. So that means less is more. Keep the grit fresh. Don't give them a big pile of grit, a couple spoons a day, or a couple fistfuls. Depends on how many birds you have in the section. So they're cleaning it up. They're cleaning it up. They're cleaning it up. They're getting it fresh. They look for you every other day and go, the fresh grit's coming. Bang, they hit it. Water fresh, clean.
I think, and I'm just going to revert back to when we spoke with Alfred Van Zorn in his interview there a few months ago. He said that the breeding time, this time of the year, is actually more important than racing when it comes to caring for your pigeons and making sure they have the absolute best nutrition-wise, etc. Did he not say that? He said breeding, the off season, is really more important than the race season for caring for them.
That's 100% right.
And another thing, as being a little kid, if your parents expose you to fish and shrimp and vegetables and spicy foods, from a little kid, you develop the taste buds for it, correct? Mm-hmm. Your breeders are the same. You want your babies to have the same taste buds. So if you want to feed your race birds peanuts, make sure the breeders are getting a little bit of peanuts in the feed. They're eating it. They're digesting it. They're giving it to the babies. It's waking up the taste buds, right? Waking up the taste buds, I call it. And it's good for your breeders.
There's an old thing.
Old thing. Same.
Don't leave a stone unturned.
Now, a question
So,
about giving them all this good stuff. I know that Robbie Taylor, a couple days ago, because he watched our last broadcast where we were showing the greens and giving the birds salad and lettuce and whatnot. And it was his first time giving his pigeons that concoction, was a few days ago. And he said initially, like they just wouldn't even look at it. They wouldn't even touch it. They wouldn't go near it. He left it with them, I believe, for like 20 minutes or half an hour. And then he went back and they were starting to pick at it a little bit. So if at first you don't succeed, would you not say try again? Because it's important that they have those nutrients, right?
well, yeah, the birds aren't familiar with what he put in.
Right.
So, for example, as you look, I give my birds bread if I can give it once a day. Okay? Now, if I take a bird from someone else, they never had bread, I throw in a slice of bread and they're going, "What's bread?" "Oh, I don't eat bread." But once they start, they get familiar with it. So yes, don't put in so much lettuce. Just throw a leaf of lettuce in and watch it. They'll start. Once you do that, they're going to be bang right on.
They pick it up. It's the same. They say pigeons don't eat peas. Pigeons will eat what you feed them. But if the pigeon's not used to it, don't expect a miracle.
Well, it's something with these youngsters here.
Oh, actually,
Okay.
You know what? Can I just cut you off for just 1 second? Right. Leah, you were with me in Holland. We went to Gerard Koopman's.
Yep.
Yes.
He had his wife. What was she cutting?
Oh, the carrots? The carrots?
Cutting carrots into cubes about the size of corn. And he said, if you don't want your breeders to get overweight, 5% or 2%, 4%, whatever it was, in the feed has to be cubed carrots. What? Yeah, cubed carrots. If the carrots are not eaten, the pigeons get no more feed. Hold on. That was his break. I put a few percent in of cubed carrots all the time. When the breeders leave the carrots, the feeding is done.
Well, I would exactly right. I went out the other day, and I gave thin sliced carrots.
I seen that.
I get a whole cereal bowl full. Now, mind you, now with the cold temperatures, I'm telling you, put that out there in about 10 minutes. It's frozen like hockey pucks. But I put it out, and I thought, okay, let's see what's going to happen here. I went out there about 2 hours later, and there was like maybe, a saucer left.
They ate the whole thing right down.
Yeah, but that what was left was frozen solid.
Right.
Same as when you put out lettuce now at this time of the year in our area. You throw out, and I wouldn't give them lettuce every day of the week. I give it maybe 3 times a week.
Yeah, or once or twice is good.
I can throw out with my breeders, I could throw out half a head of lettuce, half a head, and they'll eat it. They'll get right into it before it freezes solid. Once it freezes, they don't want it.
Right.
They don't look at it, right? So at this time of the year, you got to watch how much you put out, and only give it a couple, 3 times a week.
2-3 times a week is good. 2 times a week, you're gonna have no problem. 1 time a week, they're gonna eat it. You've seen Frank's video. He puts it out on a Sunday. The birds know Sunday we're getting the greens. Boom, they're in it.
You know what I like to do with the lettuce too is I like to take a little bit of coarse salt.
Yeah, you put the salt on it.
Sprinkle it on.
Boom,
and boy, they love it.
What else we got, Leah?
So from Andy Pereira, he has written quite a bit here, so I'm going to read it out. My breeders live in an aviary. They must have good constitution and great vitality. Any babies 5 days old, if not making the grade, they're removed. It costs just as much to feed good ones as it does bad ones. Same as the breeders, they must be able to breed in all weather. Stronger, younger birds for sure.
I believe that 100%. I'll let you talk, and then I'm going to have a few words.
I think it's right.
Is this your show or my show?
It's our show. It's a family show. Go first. Go ahead, Ricky. Fire it up. Go ahead.
No, go.
No, I think he's saying it's right on. It's to do things right or wrong. It takes the same amount of time. Does it not? You do something wrong, you're cleaning up that mess. You're better to do it right. Do it once. breed those birds. He's got them in an open aviary. Super. The health on those birds is going to be like steel. They got to deal with the elements. Strength.
100%.
And he's looking at youngsters at 5 days old. He's already watching. He's already looking for characteristics. The strength in them. How the little head sticks up. He's now looking when he bands them. How do they feel? They feel like bricks. Bang. That's great. Well, he's looking at 12 days old when he go and they snap at the nest. There's things that he's looking, and this is all what we're saying.
If they don't snap at me at the nest, then I look and I say, But this man here is saying 100%, Andy. He's pigeon racing is from start to racing and finishing. It's an onward climb on a mountain.
That's right.
On a mountain. And you've got to be able to keep working and climbing because they're athletes.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
And exactly what this Andy said. It's take a look at these little satinets here. They were mistakes. I didn't separate the group, and I got out of 30 pair. I got 2 pair went down on eggs, and I thought, you only get fed once a day.
But
and
also,
look at the strength.
Look at all. But here's the other thing. I think what Andy is saying. He's giving them the good feed. He's putting the time in, the work in, the energy in. I'm looking for those babies that want to live, want to be strong, and want to work. If you don't, I'm pulling you out, and it's, sorry to say, it's not your time. You have to watch them. If you're putting the work in, you're giving them the good stuff, you want to see those babies nice and strong. If everything's going good, that's great. It's okay if the odd one's not right to pull it out. It's okay. But keep going. Keep always
the strength.
The strength. You need the strength. Don't look at a pedigree and say, well, it's out of this and this. It's supposed to be super strong. And one's strong and one's not. Hey, sometimes it happens, doesn't it?
I always like to have a little story. And you always say, don't have stories. But years ago, where my wife was getting her hair done at the lady's house down the road. And Betty was her name. She said, you keep pigeons. I said, yes, I keep pigeons, yes. She said, my husband keeps pigeons as well. I said, that's nice. Would you like to go and see where he keeps his pigeons? And you folks won't believe it.
Go ahead.
The man had a barn facing the south, and a small barn. Maybe it would hold 6 or 8 horses. And at the south side of his barn, on the south, he had a small maple tree. It was maybe 20 feet tall.
Right.
And he had a cage built. Like when I seen it, I couldn't believe my eyes.
Right, go ahead.
He had a cage built around this tree against the barn.
Over the tree.
Right, with a 1/2-inch wire.
Right.
And in the tree, he had, a basket where you buy peaches tied on the branches, and he had a lettuce crate tied on a branch.
Right.
And he had about maybe 40 birds in there. And he made a little door where he could walk in this cage.
Feed them on the ground.
Feed them on the ground, water them there. Didn't have a roof on it. Nothing on it.
Just live in the trees. That's
it. The pigeons, his idea was, this is the way I'm going to keep pigeons. Because a pigeon loft is only for the man, not for the pigeon.
Right.
His pigeons were sparkling. I just couldn't believe it. When I seen it, I said, well, what happened? John was his name. I said, you got the basket, the pear basket.
Yeah.
Pigeons I put straw and they go and they make their nest or whatever I put in there. And I said, well, what happens when it rains? What happens? He said, no problem. He said, I just couldn't believe it when I seen it. So
well, you seen pigeons that were get busy living, weren't they?
Yeah.
They weren't spoon fed.
No, I'm not saying, guys, let's not do that. When I seen that was pretty severe looking to me.
Were they healthy?
They were Superman.
So can I ask you?
Shiny.
Can I ask you another question?
I think somebody is
curious
as to where Andy is from, and I don't remember Andy. I thought he was from the UK, but I think we're just wondering whereabouts is it that you're from, Andy, where you keep them just in an aviary, because it's not really something that we would do here just because of the temperatures, right?
Well, you can have them out in an aviary.
Avery type.
An aviary type. You know what? You can have them out in a complete aviary. All sides open, top open, everything open. If you have box perches, or nest boxes,
Where they can get in.
Then it becomes like, look, it's a hood. The pigeons tuck into the box and they're out of the wind. I think that's good.
Exactly, like city pigeons.
Right.
They sit on a shelf, on an edge, on a shelf somewhere.
They can get out of the wind a little bit this way, a little bit that way. I'm pretty sure that's what Andy's saying. And we know how it is in the UK. They get drizzly days, damp days, a lot of shit days there.
Glenn says, some time ago it was mentioned to use V8 juice, vegetable, which may not be as good as the real thing, but maybe an alternative I have used in the past. So what do you do with the V8 juice? I've never heard that before.
Well, that's tomato juice. It's vegetable juice.
It's got all the vegetables in there, right? It's perfect.
Perfect. Put a can in there. I even heard guys, they're giving their birds beer, a little bit of mix a can of beer in with the water. Just different things. I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
So where's Andy? It's Andy, right?
Andy's in the UK. So yeah, he lives in the UK.
So he lives in pretty.
There are a little different than here, for sure.
But it's still pretty damp and pretty drizzly.
It is damp. Yeah, you're right. It is damp and drizzly. I mean, they don't have the extreme -20 below in the wintertime there, but they do have extreme, I think, dampness.
But remember, sometimes extreme cold is better than sitting in extreme damp.
No, I'd take cold over damp. I know damp gets right into you.
Now, I wonder if they have problems there with like a lot of respiratory issues, because in damp environments, isn't that like a breeding ground for respiratory issues?
And coccidiosis, yeah.
So Andy just said his birds are super healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing too is, if you work on that kind of system, okay, what happens is you slowly weed out the weak, and your loft becomes stronger.
And you know what? Andy will probably vouch for it. There's probably been times where he's gone to a sale, or he's gone to his buddy's place or something, and he gives him a bird, brings it home, puts it into his loft, into his system that's working great for him. And he'll go, shit, that red checker you gave me, he just can't take my baking of the cake. And you know what? That's not a pigeon you want to add to your system. And sometimes you have to, you see that. There's nothing wrong with that.
But I would like to say something.
Mm-hmm.
If Andy's birds are that healthy and they're doing a good job flying, I would love to get a bird off him. You get what I'm saying?
No, we're not shopping for you for pigeons, Ricky.
Michael Pimentel, I just wanted to give him a shout out. He is tuned in, and he says, hello, Ryan, Sir Ricky, and loft manager Leah.
Sir Ricky.
Hello, Michael.
You're a knight.
Andy said that he gets no problems at all. Weak pigeons are removed, and Ryan is spot on. Four birds were removed. There you go.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm pretty. Hey, and here's another thing. I'll be honest with you. If I'm sending Andy a pigeon, okay? Hey, Andy, I want you to fly a couple youngsters for me.
Yeah.
Give them to Andy. Here's the best thing I love to do, and this is something. Try it, guys. Give him the birds. Let him do what he's going to do. Let him work, and see how your birds work with him. And if they're not working out, you don't say, Andy, shit. No. If Andy's birds are going down that road and they're doing it for Andy, and my birds go into his system and they just don't work, maybe they're not strong enough, maybe they can't handle his system.
They can't climb that mountain.
It's not Andy's fault. It's not. Your birds don't work with him. That's what it is. And when you cultivate tough pigeons, hard-nosed pigeons, I'll say it, some flyers are candy-ass flyers, spoon-feed flyers. You give them the birds, and those birds fall down and crash and burn.
Well, it's like some people look here. We had guests here today with the age that we wean. And if you showed people it, a lot of the people that they know it all, they say, that guy's nuts in the head.
Yeah, right. What
We
you were
had
talking about
we had
before.
we had
About
we
weight.
had we had we had people in here today, and it's the same as climbing that mountain.
What did they say? And I'm going to make it quick for you.
Mm-hmm.
They watched the babies eat. They were blown away. They said, our babies don't do that. We don't. Well, did you ever try it? No. We showed them what we did, as we've shown you guys. It works great. You can try it. You don't have to try it. But save your breeders. Leah, what else you got for us?
I just wanted to say a big thank you to everybody who has sent us photos and videos. Weaning videos are fantastic, guys. The photos that you're sending of your youngsters, it's fantastic. Um, we really appreciate the support and the contribution, and every little bit helps. I like to share it on our page so other people can see what fanciers are doing or how they're weaning, instructional videos, whatever you guys have to share that you think is of value for new people starting out, or just in general, tips that you've learned. Please share them with us, and we want to share them with everybody because the power is, our information is, or knowledge is power, is what they say, and we're all here to help each other out. So I just want to thank everybody who has sent those videos
A
and
little
the
bit of
photos.
information. I learned something today.
With the cutting of the tail.
Yeah,
That was a
and
good one.
I think that was a good.
And I think, though, we're getting back to that quickly, cutting of the tail. It was identical to frank tying of the feet. It just takes the balance off.
So how does you have to tie?
Well, you just tie the two bands together with a little bit of rope, so the bird can't adjust his feet.
Uh-huh.
But it
No,
takes the balance off.
Yeah, we're just talking about doing that if you have an overly aggressive cock. We're not saying don't be tying birds' legs together.
And
randomly.
some guys go, look at that cockbird, that son of a gun. He's going to try and run the whole loft. I'll tell you something. That is a cockbird with some strength and attitude, which is going forward. So don't blame him for what he's doing. He may be an aggravation.
Hey, you could always say, who wants the weakling that can't defend his box? Isn't that the same as what Andy's saying? If he doesn't look like in the nest at 3 days old like a piece of steel, he doesn't look like a piece of steel at 10 days, 15 days, 30 days. What is Andy doing? He removes them.
Right.
Strength moving forward.
That's right, 100%. I
Okay.
think.
So
Done.
I think that is going to be it for today. We've been on just over an hour. I want to thank everybody for contributing to this show. It was another great show, as always. We will be back. I'm not sure when, but we will let you know when we will be back sometime this week, I'm sure. Anything else you want to say, Ryan?
All I'm going to say, 700 rings. This is going to be Ontario's largest open Youngbird race series. We're going to hit 1,100 rings, and we're going to have a celebration. Remember, anybody who purchases under 10 rings, they can win the average speed with under 10 pigeons. You're going to get an additional 1,000. I'm giving it out of my own pocket. We're going to sell all 2,200, inch by inch, brick by brick, mile by mile. We're looking for handlers. Big shout out to Mike Van Kempen, Kempen's Coop. He's offered to take birds in. Anybody knows Mike in the last 20 years? Is he a good flyer, Ricky?
Last 40 years. Oh, his dad.
His dad and him,
Kempen.
excellent flyers. And you know what else is good? He's got his daughter, Montana, in the sport. Yeah. He's winning.
I will put a post up that Mike Van Kempen has offered to be a handler if anybody is interested. I will do that. Yes, bands are still available, $15 a band. Also, we have about 30 some odd spots left for the Pioneer Youngbird One Loft race. So make your reservations for that. If you don't see your name on the list, then your person is not reserved.
Ask, how many spots do we have for junior people?
We're almost sold out of the junior.
We're almost sold out of junior. There was 25 spots, and I'm pretty sure we're like almost there or there. But in total, we have about, 30-something spots left, right?
30 spots left with the juniors there included. That'll sell out, and the bands are going to keep going. We're going to keep selling them. We're going to try and hit 2,200. Remember, right now, the largest open Youngbird series in the province of Ontario is the Pioneer Elite Band Series. It's going to be the largest open race this year in Canada.
You get 4 races for $15.
A bird.
One
band's $15.
He can fly 4 races.
4 300-mile races. Hey, it's a win for you guys to test out your pigeons. Can you condition your pigeons 4 weeks in a row? And if you can do it, you will be the winner. We're paying an average speed, champion bird, first, second, and third in each race. And you know what? We're having fun.
We're going to have some fun.
Keep it-
It's going to be a fun race, a fun series. I am looking forward to it. I think that's it for me, Ryan. Let's wrap this up.
Thank you, guys. On behalf of Sir Richard, little old me, Ryan, Leah, you've done a great job.
Oh,
Audience,
wait a minute.
Audience,
It's not oh you. You are bigger than me.
I am bigger than you.
Remember
You
that.
know they say the bigger they are, the harder you fall. Audience, thanks for your support. Andy, good job coming in from the UK. Keep them strong, keep them tight. Andy, if you are still watching, get us a video. Show us what you're doing. Let's see it.
Yeah,
Let's
They always say seeing is believing, and yes, I have been to the North Pole and I have visited Santa Claus.
Okay, and
You guys have been awesome. Tomorrow
what
night,
do they
just
say-
stop.
what do they say in
Don't worry.
England?
Cut it down. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Toronto time, New York time. The man, the legend, Derek Walsh, Feathers Leap Pigeon Auction.
And where is he from?
We are from Ireland. He's going to be on our channel. We're doing an interview, a sit down. Tune into that. Get your
On our-
questions ready.
Feathers Elite Pigeon Auctions Facebook page. We will
Feathers
be
Elite Pigeon-
live with Derek Walsh at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
We'll be live. Make sure you're there, guys. Thanks for flying with us.
We
Ricky's
don't-
been
we don't
great.
like
Great,
jokes.
great, great.
We
Thanks
don't-
for flying with us, Leah. Bye for now.